Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We've gotten a ton of requests from you all about nanorobots, and lucky for you, we've got some seriously cool research to dig into today. We're talking robots so small that they make a red blood cell look gigantic.
It really puts things in perspective, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
And we're not just talking sci-fi fantasies here. This research is looking at using nanobots to treat brain aneurysms.
Yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff, taking what used to be science fiction and turning it into a potential medical reality.
Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, maybe we should do a quick refresher. What exactly is a brain aneurysm?
So imagine a hose with a weak spot.
Okay.
And that weak spot starts to balloon out, kind of like a bubble. That's basically an aneurysm, except instead of a garden hose, it's happening in a blood vessel in your brain.
And that's not good, obviously.
Definitely not. If that bulge bursts, you're talking about a potential stroke, serious long-term damage, all kinds of complications.
So how do these nanorobots come into play?
Well, they offer a way to potentially treat those aneurysms without the need for traditional open surgery, which is often risky, right?
Yeah, brain surgery is not something you want to undergo unless it's absolutely necessary. So when I picture nanobots, I'm thinking like tiny little robots with arms and legs, maybe even some welding tools to patch things up.
Well, I hate to burst your bubble, but it's a little more elegant than that.
Oh.
Think of it more like microscopic submarines.
Okay, microscopic submarines. I like the sound of that.
Each one carries a special delivery to help repair those weak blood vessels.
So walk me through, how do these nanobots actually work?
Yeah. Each nanobot has a core made of this special material, a magnetic material.
Like a little magnet.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like a tiny compass needle.
So doctors can steer them using magnets.
You got it. They use external magnets to guide the nanobots through the bloodstream, kind of like a high-tech GPS system.
Wow, so they're literally steering these microscopic robots through the brain.
It's amazing, isn't it? And there's more.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
They coat these nanobots with a special material.
What kind of material?
Well, it's designed to melt at a specific temperature.
Oh, I see. So it's like a timed release.
Precisely.
So what are they carrying? What's getting released?
They're packed with clotting agents, like a microscopic first aid kit.
Clotting agents.
Like what your body naturally uses to stop bleeding.
So these nanobots are like tiny little paramedics rushing to the rescue.
Exactly. And they're carrying one very important clotting agent, thrombin, which is a key player in your body's natural healing process.
So we got these like microscopic clotting machines all loaded up and ready to go.
Ready for action.
But how do they actually get to the aneurysm? I mean, are we talking about some kind of microsurgery here?
Not quite, like Fantastic Voyage, shrinking doctors down to navigate the bloodstream, although that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, sign me up for that deep dive. But really, how do they make sure these nanobots hit their target?
Okay, so imagine this. They inject billions of these nanobots upstream of the aneurysm.
Billions.
Billions, yeah. It's like a whole fleet of microscopic submarines, all on a mission to repair that blood vessel.
Okay, so we've got our tiny submarines. Now we need a navigation system, right?
Exactly. Remember those magnetic cores we talked about?
Like tiny little compasses inside each nanobot.
Yep. And doctors can use a special external magnet. Super precise.
So they're basically steering them remotely.
Exactly. Guiding them through all the twists and turns of the brain's blood vessels, like a high-tech GPS.
So no need to open up the skull.
Exactly. That's one of the biggest advantages here. Traditional brain surgery, that often means opening the skull, which comes with all sorts of risks. Infection, long recovery time, it's a big deal.
Not to mention, probably pretty terrifying for the patient.
Absolutely. This nanobot approach is potentially much less invasive, much less risk involved.
So less risk, quicker recovery time. What other benefits are we talking about?
Well, because these nanobots are so small, they can reach places that traditional surgery can't. Yeah. We're talking aneurysms that are deep within the brain, really nestled in their near vital structures, places that were previously considered too risky or even impossible to operate on.
It's like they can slip in, do what needs to be done, and get out without causing a lot of collateral damage.
That's the idea. And because you're delivering the treatment directly to the source, you minimize side effects. The clotting agents are only released where they're needed.
This is all starting to sound pretty good. Almost too good to be true.
Well, there are always challenges when you're talking about cutting-edge technology, especially something with this much potential.
So what are the hurdles? What needs to happen before this goes from the lab to the hospital. So it sounds like we're not quite ready to swap our surgeons for nanobots just yet.
Not quite yet.
But it's definitely on the horizon, right?
Absolutely. There's still work to be done, for sure.
So what are the biggest challenges researchers are facing right now?
Well, one of the big ones is control. Steering these nanobots through the bloodstream with magnets, that's amazing. But the brain, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, a lot more traffic to navigate.
Exactly. We're talking about incredibly precise movements, especially as we get deeper into the brain. One wrong turn and, well, you don't want to think about it.
You definitely need to make sure your GPS is top-notch.
Exactly.
So better navigation tools. What else is on the to-do list?
Long-term safety is a big one. We need to make absolutely sure that these nanobots are safe over the long haul.
What does that involve?
So once they've delivered their clotting agents, what happens to them? Does the body break them down naturally? Do they just hang out? These are questions we need answers to.
We don't want any rogue nanobots causing trouble down the line.
Right. And that means tons of testing, moving from small animals to larger ones, and eventually human trials.
So it's a long road, but it sounds like we're headed in the right direction.
We are. But there's one more challenge I want to touch on: cost.
Right, because even the most amazing medical breakthrough isn't that helpful if no one can afford it.
Exactly. Right now, the process for creating these nanobots, it's complex and it's expensive. If we want this to be a treatment that's available to everyone, we need to find a way to scale up production and bring those costs down.
So we've got the science fiction part down. Now we just need to make it a reality for everyone.
That's the goal.
Well, I'm excited to see where this goes. It seems like every day we're getting closer and closer to a future where nanorobots are a regular part of medicine.
It's an amazing field, that's for sure, and it's moving incredibly fast.
It really makes you wonder, what incredible breakthroughs are just around the corner? What will the future of medicine look like? That's something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and we'll catch you on our next deep dive.